You had mentioned yesterday, you had given a situation where if you're in a relationship with someone and they betray you, that there is a violation of the love, and that the upsetness that comes up is on behalf of love and not of the separate self. And that confused me a little bit, because I thought, how can love or awareness be violated? And again, when we were talking about politics and things happening, that you said it might be appropriate to resist and to say no. And again, that feels almost like awareness needs to be defended or stood up for. And I guess I'm a little bit confused about, when do we know?
Yeah.
When do we know that we're standing up for or defending awareness, and not the separate self?
I didn't mean, you're right, you're quite right. Love ultimately cannot be violated. What I meant by that was that if a situation arises in an intimate relationship where you may feel that the other has not acted in a way that honors love, or in this case, that honors your shared being, that has done something that does not express the knowledge of your shared being. In other words, that acts in a way that is not consistent with love, or the recognition of our shared being. That's what I meant by a violation of love, to act in a way that is not consistent with love or the recognition of our shared being. And so translate the same, another example in relation to politics or whatever, that you may feel that somebody behaves in a way that violates intelligence. That is not an expression of intelligence or truth or understanding. But their behavior is an expression of denial of truth or understanding.
But we seem to all have different definitions of what intelligence is.
No. There's only one truth. There's only one absolute truth. There are many relative truths, but there's only one absolute truth. Mm-hmm. Of course, our postmodern culture believes that every narrative is as good as any other narrative. One person thinks it's wrong to abuse children, another person thinks it's right to abuse children. Nothing to choose between these two views. They're just two relative views. Both of them are equally true. Both of them are equally valid. That's postmodern thinking that believes there is no absolute truth.
Mm-hmm. Going back
but
to
we know, sorry, just to interrupt, but we know from our experience that there is something that is absolutely true. Something that is absolutely true can never change. It is not dependent upon different points of view. It is something that is absolutely true at all times, for all peoples, under all circumstances, in all situations. We know that there is something that is absolutely true, that is not relative to a particular point of view. That's what we were saying earlier. Consciousness. Of course, postmodern culture has overlooked the presence of consciousness, and therefore thinks that all there are relative narratives.
Yeah. And going back to the relationship, so if somebody acts in a way that is not consistent with shared love, to me that there's a very thin line between that and a separate self feeling like it can't be happy unless the rules of the relationship
are the line may
not.
be thin. In other words, it may not be clear in our experience, but nevertheless, there is a line. There is a line between being personally hurt by someone's behavior and recognizing that their behavior is not an expression of love. There is a difference between those two feelings. Yeah. And we may sometimes not be quite clear whether our response is a personal feeling of hurt or impersonal outrage that someone behave in this way. So I grant that sometimes it may not
Sure.
be clear, or it may be a mixture of both. That's also possible. That your reaction is a reaction that rises on behalf of that you feel that truth or love has been disrespected or violated. At the same time, you also there's a little bit of personal hurt
All right,
mixed in
sure.
there. So it could also be both.
I can see that, yeah. Okay, thank you.